Hi everyone, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to be drawing a bear wearing a sweater. What you will be needing is a white piece of paper. There should be one in your art folder labeled animals and sweaters that you can use. You could take off your label because we won't be needing that anymore. You're also going to need a pencil, an eraser, and something to trace your drawing with. I have a Sharpie, but you can use any kind of marker or pen today to trace your picture. Today we're going to draw a bear together, and then we're going to use different kinds of patterns using lines and shapes to make different designs to add some texture. But we're going to start first by drawing our bear. So with your pencil at the top of our paper, we're going to draw the top of our bear's head. Now to start, I'm going to do almost like a wavy line that's going to dip down towards the center and then back up. So it should have two hills on both sides and then a dip in between. I'm going to take that line and bring it around, and this is going to be my bear's head, so I'm making it nice and big and round. Off to the sides of those little bumps that I drew, I'm going to add some ears by doing 2 half circles coming off the sides of the head. I could add 2 more half circles in there, so then we can have like the inside of the ear and then the outer edge. I'm going to draw my bear's body, which is just going to be a curved line coming from the head and curving down towards the bottom of my page. I'm going to do that on both sides. So now this area is going to be the sweater that my bear is going to be wearing, and then we just have the top of his head up here. So now I'm going to add 2 eyes. Just going to use 2 little ovals towards the center, and our bear has a snout. I'm going to do a big frown curve in between the eyes, and then I'm going to take that line and bring it out and around and back up, making the shape of like a pear. So it's a skinny oval at the top and wider down at the bottom. And my nose is going to fall right in the center of this. So I'm going to do a big curved line that is facing down, and then another curve down below that's more like a U shape to connect it. You can give your bear an open mouth with some teeth if you'd like. I'm going to make my bear have a nice big smile, and I'll give him some pointy teeth. I'm lightly going to color in my bear's eyes with my pencil because I'm going to color those in black later, so that's going to help me remember. I'm also going to color in my bear's nose black, so I'm going to carefully shade that in, as well as the inside of the mouth. I like to fill that in with my pencil just to help me remember for later on. I'm also going to do it with my ears. I am going to start to work on the sweater now. So moving down, I'm going to add some big curved rings going down the body of all different sizes. So maybe I'll do a skinny one, then a wider section. Maybe I'll do another skinny section, and then one big section down at the bottom that's going off our page a little bit. This is just going to help divide our sweater so we can add a bunch of different patterns in there. So now inside each of these rows, I'm going to think of a different pattern I can use using lines and shapes. So you can come up with whatever kinds of patterns you would like. Yours does not have to look like mine. Maybe you have a favorite sweater at home and you want to draw the kinds of designs that you have on your favorite sweater. But we just want to use repeating lines and shapes to create some different designs. So in this section, I have 2 straight lines and then an oval, and I am repeating that pattern over and over again until I make it to the other side. So now in my next section, I want to come up with something different. So maybe in this section, I want a big zigzag line. Now, whatever kind of pattern you're drawing, you just want to fill up that entire space as best as you can with it. So even though I did a zigzag line, I'm going to add more to that because I still have a lot of space here to fill in. So I think I'm going to do some horizontal lines, and I'm going to jump over those zigzag sections that I made to just fill in the rest of that space a little bit better, because we don't need a lot of white space. You want to come up with the craziest designs you can to make the funkiest sweater ever. is what my pattern sweater designs look like all finished. So I've used repeating lines and shapes in all the different sections to create multiple different patterns in my sweater. Now that I finished drawing everything with my pencil, I'm going to go in with my Sharpie and just trace over all of my pencil lines and fill in those black areas. Now some of my areas like inside the ears and the eyes are a little bit bigger, so I'm going to grab a different black marker to color those in, just so it's a little bit easier. I don't like to color in big areas with my Sharpie because it does go through the paper a little bit. With my Sharpie, I'm just going to go around and trace everything that I did with my pencil. And that is what my bear looks like all finished. So I traced all of my designs inside my sweater, and I traced and colored in the details on my bear's face. Now we're going to add some texture on our bear. We're going to use some short little lines to create the illusion of fur on our bear. So the way that we're going to do that is with our marker, we're just going to be drawing little straight lines all around our bear's face to create some texture. Now when we create texture using repeating lines and shapes like this, it helps show that different parts of our artwork are representing things that feel different in real life. So a bear is covered in fur, and that fur feels different than just a plain old smooth piece of paper. So by creating repeating little lines like this, we're going to give off that feeling of fur for our bear. So our bear has some texture. It's not just totally flat and smooth. It's going to look furry. So I'm just doing super short little lines over and over again, starting by going around my bear's eyes. Now I'm keeping my lines nice and close together, but they are not touching. And I'm just going in big rings around the eyes to start. I'm doing this straight in with my marker. You can do it with your pencil first, but it's going to take you a lot longer to go back in and then have to trace everything. So I think it's a lot easier to start with your marker and just go straight in with all of your little lines. Now that I went around the eyes a couple of times, I'm going to start going around the rest of the face. So I'm going to do the little snout. Again, just creating these little short lines over and over again. So once I'm done, I'm going to have a bunch of little rings of lines to create my bear's fur. And now we're kind of doing the same thing that we did with our Alexander Calder collage last week, but instead of making straight lines following around our shapes, we're doing these little short dashed line pieces, and I'm just following around the curves to fill in the rest of that space, leaving that little sidewalk-like gap in between everything. Now I'm just going to keep going around and around and around until I fill it up. That is what my bear looks like all finished now that I added the texture all around my bear's head by doing little short lines to create the illusion of fur. While I went around close to the edge of the face, I let some of my lines go off the edge outside of that border that I originally drew, just to make my bear look even furrier. I also added 2 rows of lines in the ears, but again, you can fit however much you can on your picture. You just want to try and fill up most of that space to make a nice big furry bear. Once you're done drawing your fur, we're going to save our project for next week when we're going to finish it. So make sure you put it in a safe place or back in your art folder so we can add color and finish our picture up next time. Try your best, have fun, and get creative, and I'll see you then. Bye!